Hey, it's Jack, no K, Jack in the attic, and it's 7 in the morning. We haven't had a single day with the sun out in several days, and I can't really wait to record this any longer, so we're going artificial light. This is a different camera. A lot of things may look different. So if I look like a completely different person on camera now, sorry. I don't know what this is going to look like yet, so we're really experiencing this together. Today, I'm going to talk about my fall and winter, just cold weather in general, knitting plans. I'm in the middle of the US, so that really impacts my dressing for the weather, obviously. That's just my region. It impacts my knitting. I have already done some of my fall knitting. It is late October at this point, so I'll show you the fall pieces I have already finished. If you watch every video of mine, some of these will be repeats, but I want to keep it all together. So the first thing I finished for the fall weather, and I did finish this in the early fall, is the Venomous Cowl by TellybeanKnits. I'm so happy with this. This was actually my first colorwork piece ever, like stranded colorwork. I would like to show you the inside because I want to know if I am catching my floats correctly or if this is overkill. Not correctly, I know I'm doing the correct technique. But am I doing too much? Because this is what the inside looks like. I want it to start off solid. I wanted to get in a good habit of catching my floats frequently. Is that good? Because in my mind, the more, the better, but I think that's not necessarily true. And it may also depend on your individual tension. Many mysteries. So this is currently itchy. I am hoping the itch washes out of it. I do have notoriously sensitive skin, and if you've been here a while, you know that I have a mysterious coming and going wool allergy that only really seems to impact me if I inhale wool fibers, and it doesn't necessarily impact my skin, even though I do have chronic idiopathic hives as well, so it's not like I don't have skin allergies. But my skin allergies are to nothing. Moving on. I would love to use the conditioner trick, but I have to use like unscented hypoallergenic conditioner as well. Which I can do. I'll try that. But yes, this has convinced me I can do anything. I can do whatever I want. More color work is coming very soon. Oh, I should talk about the sweater I'm wearing. This is my Viveca cardigan, the buddy knit I did with Irma. I keep doing that. This is very much a fall knit, even though we did work on them through the summer to have them ready for the fall. So I think it's worth a mention, even if it's not technically part of this video. The first project I really need to do to finish my fall knitting is to switch out the buttons on this cardigan because they're slightly too small. I went to Scraps to thrift some buttons, you know, and they're just not quite right. I will end up using them for something else. They will not go to waste, but I did go and purchase four slightly larger buttons to replace these with, and that should fix every problem I have with this cardigan, because that's the only problem I have with this cardigan. I talked about in my last video the multiple changes I made to this cardigan. Not because there is anything wrong with the pattern, but because I wanted something specific out of this yarn, and everything worked out. So the next thing, I have one finished and one in progress. I'm doing the things that I've already started or finished first, and then we'll get to the goals and plans after. You have already seen this one, or you may have already seen this one. The beanie I knit for my partner out of my own hand-dyed. I'm looking in a mirror to see if you can see this on camera. The new setup is a new setup. So I'm very happy with this. It seems to fit very well, except I want to go back and add like 1 to 2 inches of length in the body just so the folded up brim is a little more of a proper length, because currently as worn it's like an inch, inch and a half. And I just worry about that rolling down, so I'm gonna add some length maybe today because the hat is at home and not at work. I'm making one for myself in more of my hand-dyed yarn. I dyed these skeins at the exact same time. So this one is the same concept, just brown and black. These were knit without a pattern. They are inspired by the Musselburgh hat, and when I am inspired by a pattern, I do eventually purchase it just to be fair to the designer, because I want to give them some sort of credit. However, I think this one was pretty easy to reverse engineer. I did do a different cast on. I know it's like is it a pinhole cast on for the Musselburgh? Something like that. I cast on the same way I would cast on a sock. Toe up, increased from there, split it into 4, increased even more from there, tube, decrease, you know? Also, can I talk about how I dyed these? Because I did not record that process. So I took 2 like fully twisted up hanks of undyed yarn, did not pre-soak them in anything. So I did put the citric acid in the dye bath instead of in the soaking water. So twisted up, not pre-soaked, directly into the bath so that the twist of the skein would provide some resist. Directly into a black dye bath, out. And so there were a bunch of white spots left on the yarn. Entire skein went back into a new dye bath of red or brown. Does that make any sense? I will use this method again because I really like the yarn that it produced. Anyway, okay, the next thing I've been working on, no one knows about yet except for like the group chat. So I have been holding on to 11 skeins of this big twist sock wall in black and brown. Remember last November, I think, I went to the Oddities Expo and I was amazed to see a wild number of beautiful women wearing all black with brown cardigans, and it changed my mind about brown as a color to integrate into my wardrobe. I'm obviously pro everyone doing their own thing, and I like colors on other people. I just am hesitant to wear them. So since then, I have been mixing some browns and some neutral earthy tones, hence this cardigan, into my own wardrobe. And these have been sitting in my stash, waiting for the perfect project. And did I wait for the perfect project? No, these are sport weight. And I picked a DK pattern to knit, and it's working out so far, so Anyway, the cardigan I'm working on, it's the Baseline Cardigan by Susanne Sommer. It's sideways construction, all garter stitch. It's so cute. I'm so excited to wear it, and I'm not even halfway done. I'm not even close to halfway done, and I want to be wearing it right now. I have no idea if this yarn still exists or will exist in the future. I bought so much of it right before Joanne stopped taking online orders, so this was new at the end, So the construction is interesting. It has worked sideways, not exactly in the way I expected, but now that I'm far enough along, I kind of understand. It makes more sense now. Let me show you my progress. I use a cord, cable, whatever, on my interchangeable circulars that is too short for whatever I'm working on. It is my preference. So you can see the V-neck. You can't see that, I lied. But the V-neck is here. I'm working from the center out. Vertical stripes. Are we seeing the vision? The vertical stripes? Yes, okay. So recently, I'm probably behind on this, but recently I have been witnessing some discussion about bone-in versus boneless sweaters. Bones would be like seams or structural features to give a garment some shape. And then a boneless sweater would be like no seams, knit all in one piece, etc. So this cardigan, because of, where is it? There is a slip stitch detail. Was I showing you the inside of the cardigan? Hold on. Oh my gosh, I was showing you the wrong side of the cardigan. Okay, so you couldn't see the vision at all. It's gonna look like this instead. Now are we seeing the vision? Okay. How silly. So, slipped stitch detail at the top of the shoulders. This I would not consider a bone. I think this cardigan I would describe as cartilaginous. A shark cardigan. All cartilage, no bones, just right. Moving on to things I don't have on the needles to show you, and the first and probably most ever-present project I'm going to have through the colder months, socks. All socks, a bunch of socks. As we know, I have an ongoing project to knit a bunch of non-standard sock patterns, which to me is like construction based, not necessarily how it looks. A non-standard construction. I have so many saved in my favorites. I have all the sock yarn I will ever need to make all of these socks. I have big plans, but they might change slightly or dramatically, so I'm not going to go over all of the patterns in this video. Just saying I'm gonna make a lot of socks. And then eventually, probably at the end of the colder weather season, I would like to say early next year, I'm going to do the non-standard sock pattern video that I talk about constantly and have shown like no evidence of making. Don't worry about it. And now on to things that I haven't been working on at all and are brand new to me, patterns that I just like and I want to make. So first is the stumble skirt. It's like simple, it's cute, it's perfect, it's exactly the type of skirt I like to wear. A little bit flowy, but not, you know, too heavy. And for me, it looks easy enough to adjust to different yarn weights, which I am constantly doing just to make my life harder for no reason. It actually hasn't been a big deal. I don't know that it has ever backfired too badly, maybe once. Anyway, I'm gonna keep doing it. But yeah, I think this would be a great fall project. Also, stockinette in the round, I think. I'm not looking at it right now. I'm going from memory. Stockinette in the round. I have to have a stockinette in the round pattern on the go at all times. Seems like a win-win. Next is the Everyday Attitude tee, also by Susanne Sommer. I already purchased this pattern, and it just is kind of exactly what I'm missing in my wardrobe at the moment. I really don't own a lot of short sleeves. I have a lot of t-shirts that I don't wear. More of a short sleeve top, not a t-shirt, you know? I really hate layering sleeves over sleeves. I find it uncomfortable, but I love cardigans. So I spend most of the year, when a cardigan is wearable, wearing it over a tank top. So if I had a short sleeve top, that would be great. And I love stripes. And I love tiny stripes. And the outline tee by Jessie Maed, I already bought this pattern as well. Same situation here. I plan to make this one with the Morbid Millennium Signs yarn I got from Savannah Rose Handmade. I think it's gonna be really cute. How could it not be cute? The Floral Night Mitts, more color work. I'm excited. I purchased this pattern and a couple of others right before Harper B shut down their pattern shop. The Floral Night Mitts and a few other patterns are still available separately for free on a different website, but without support. But again, free. And I bought yarn for this during Yarn Crawl, so I'm set. This kind of feels like a lot of things when I think about knitting a pair of socks in between every other project. But this is for the entire fall and winter. It's like half the year, and ultimately I will end up forgetting about a couple of things on this list and replacing them with 5 or 6 other things. Completely unrelated to anything I had on this list. That's just how it goes. And on that note, my final planned piece, wait, I hand-dyed yarn for this and I don't have it. I have to go get the yarn so I can show you. One moment. Okay, so this is the big one. Again, I hand-dyed yarn for this. 7 skeins of DK yarn for this. I've been scheming. It is the Witching Hour sweater or swancho? Sweater poncho? But how? Perfect. Just imagine. Are we imagining? There's so much variation in these greens. I'm so excited to see how it works out, but separately. That's a separate note. I'm just excited for the yarn itself. The green is kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot, but for color work, I don't know, I think it's fun, especially paired with a solid black. Did dyeing solid black on the first try have an impact on my ego? Yes. Yes, it did. I have been told that is hard. So I'm just gonna say I got lucky because I ended up with solid black. I even split a skein in half to dye the 2 halves, the 2 different colors, so that I didn't have to buy an extra skein of yarn. I just went by exactly what the pattern calls for and a little extra, but without having to buy an additional skein. Thrilled about that. I would absolutely do that again. It worked out really well. I mean, so far. I haven't knit it, but so far the dyeing part worked really well. So I intend to start that one as soon as I finish the baseline cardigan, because color work in DK is going to be plenty warm enough for me come winter. I also have a granny square sort of nondescript project I'm working on in between other things. I keep buying minis in interesting green colors, and I'm just making them to granny squares for now. That will eventually become something. So I'm technically working on that too, but I think that's gonna be a spring finish, not fall or winter. I will definitely keep spinning yarn. I have some Halloween fiber I want to spin, like this week. It's Halloween. But for now, and until further notice, those are my plans. Is it too much? Is it too little? Only time will tell. I unfortunately have no way of knowing. And again, thank you for joining me on this new camera, new setup experiment. Hopefully things aren't too weird. I will sort of know if they are before you do, but honestly, when I'm editing, the screen is so teeny tiny. The part that shows the video is so teeny tiny, I kind of don't know what's going on until it's uploaded. Plus, who knows what YouTube is going to do to video quality. I do feel like not being able to see myself in the camera leads to me staring directly into the lens, so if that's a little intense, sorry. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. I hope I could keep you company in your crafting journey. Definitely let me know, do you have fall and winter knitting plans? Do you think that far ahead? I feel like I'm usually not thinking that far ahead, but this time I have things I want to do. Don't forget to take breaks and stretch and take care of your joints, but as always, go and live your best yarny life, and I will see you next time.